Morning, everyone. Morning. Choir's going to start with our song of the month from the new Unitarian Universalist hymnal called Sing Out Love. The song is called Come Gather Round, and it welcomes everyone. Let me know if you don't find yourself represented somewhere in the lyrics of this song. I mean it. I mean it. Let me know if you don't find yourself in the lyrics of this song. That wasn't after service. Yeah, after service.
Good morning. Oh, what a joy to be here on a choir Sunday.
Thank you.
Welcome to your neighborhood Unitarian Universalist congregation Sunday service, whether you're here in Meet Space or in Zoom Space, or in the future watching a recording on YouTube or our website. If you're joining us for the first time, know that you are welcome here, as is everyone seeking a spiritual community. Our mission at Neighborhood is to empower spiritual growth and shared action for the care of our world. My name is Enta, and I will be your service weaver this morning. For those of us here in person, please remember to be aware of the various needs and boundaries of one another while we're here together, and that's things like honoring our mask-required seating area over here to my left, keeping the aisles of the sanctuary clear for mobility devices, asking permission before hugging or physically touching your neighbors. And if you have a phone or other device and you need it to participate in the service, please keep it at hand. But if there's a ringing or a pinging or a buzzing that you can silence so as not to distract from the service, please take a second to do that now. Know that our services usually run about an hour and a half long. So if there's anything you need to make yourself comfy cozy, please sit, stand, stim, stretch, pace, pop over to the kitchen for some water, or over to the all-ages wiggle room for a couch and or some toys, or over to the all-ages activity table where you can draw, play with kinetic sand, hang out with the cool kids. That wasn't a joke. If you're new and you'd like to keep in touch with us, take a gander in the pockets on the backs of the seats for a newcomer card. And you can fill that out with your contact information and just pop it into the offertory plate when we pass it around later in the service. Whoever you are, whatever your relationship to belief, spirituality, or community, thank you for being here today. And speaking of community, take a moment now to greet your neighbors. After you've greeted a few in Meet Space or on the Zoom call for those of you on Zoom, give a little wave, camera or your home camera, to those of us who are watching in the future via recording, or those on the other side of the Meet Space, Zoom Space divide. Suzanne will sound a chime to end.
Thank you.
Takes a little longer to find your seats on a choir Sunday, doesn't it? As we prepare to enter sacred space, let us remember that this land has always been sacred. As the traditional lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, who are the treaty holders of this place, as well as the Haudenosaunee Confederacy and the Wendat peoples, who lived here before me and are living here now, together with other First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. This Thursday marks Transgender Day of Remembrance, a somber occasion during which we honor the lives of those murdered in transphobic acts of violence. As a trans person descended from Japanese and white Northern European settlers born on the colonized land of Toronto, I can sometimes catch myself feeling like that transphobia, othering, the enforcement of strict gender roles in a binary under threat of violence is just a part of being here. And yet, for the vast, vast majority of human history on this land, that was not actually the case. Since before the word trans was ever spoken in this place, Anishinaabe-Moan, the language of the Mississaugas and other Ojibwe peoples, has had a rich and diverse vocabulary to refer to people whose lives and experiences transcend conventional male and female binary roles. One such phrase, Bakani Inadiji, has been translated alternately into English as their actions differ, or she or he has a certain nature, or a certain way of life, always with a positive, respectful connotation. And just that term, that respectful observation, in itself has a lesson that reflects the wisdom of the inhabitants, the first inhabitants of this land, that all people, regardless of their differences, their nature, their way of life, are inherently worthy of recognition and respect. For this and other teachings, I give thanks to our First Peoples and covenant to deepen my understanding of what it means to be in right relations with this land and all its beings. Please join me now in either reading or listening to our invocation, whose words are projected on screen. Let us cast the circle of a sacred space here. Let us cast the circle of a cherished space here, a space of safety, a place of forgiveness, a place of love. If we want the world to change, we must craft in our space and in ourselves the seeds that grow a different kind of life, a life of graciousness, of creative intelligence, a place of life and spirit, for ourselves and our families. Today, our chalice will be lit by Keith from the flame of our children's lantern. Shout out to all the children here, by the way. Where are my children at? As we light our chalice from your lantern, please let that remind you that you are celebrated here, you are needed here, and we are so lucky to have you as a part of this community. Please join the choir in singing our chalice lighting song. Our centering music comes to us from our wonderful spirit choir. I'll hand it over now to Moira, who has a special and important introduction to this special and important piece that you will want to listen closely to.
Our song is called In the Hearts of You and Me, and it is a tribute to missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirited people. In 2019, a national inquiry found that Indigenous women are 12 times more likely to go missing or be murdered than non-Indigenous women in this country, and that this is part of an ongoing genocide of Indigenous peoples. The song we sing, written by Kim Gucci of the Lheidli First Nation and arranged by Suzanne, speaks about the Highway of Tears. It is a 700-plus kilometer section of British Columbia's Highway 16, connecting the inland city of Prince George to Prince Rupert on the coast. Dozens of women and girls have gone missing along this highway over the years, most of them Indigenous, some hitchhiking because of a lack of frequent and affordable transportation options. Cell phone coverage in this area has been spotty. In the song, you'll hear reference to a red dress on a tree. And the red dress, we have one here today, used by Métis artist Jamie Black Morissette in a 2010 project, has become a symbol of missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirited people. Later in the service, you will be invited to contribute to the Red Dress Society in Prince George, which honors the lives of the missing and murdered every year, supports their families, and advocates for life-saving change. Kim Gucci writes, "May we never forget our lost and stolen sisters. May their families find justice. May their families find peace. May we never forget the thousands of Indigenous women, girls, and men who are missing and who have been murdered. May their beauty live forever in the hearts of you and me."
May it be so. Our theme for November is our first principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And today, for our pulpit swap, we welcome Reverend Bri-anne Swan from our neighbor congregation, East End United, to speak to the little signs of inherent worth and dignity that live beyond this and that, if we care to look for them. As a non-binary person who has spent many years working and volunteering in 2S LGBTQIA+ youth community mental health, sometimes it feels like my entire life, or certainly my entire workday, exists in the beyond this and that. Anyone else who's worked in community services, I know there's plenty of you out there, knows that working in community services, all those moments of providing life-affirming supports, hearing clients' stories of struggle, resilience, witnessing their moments of growth, their journeys, all pale in comparison to the best part of the job, paperwork. For anyone who hasn't worked in community services, that was a joke. Okay, yeah, no, paperwork isn't anyone's favorite, but over the years, I've learned that it offers some really unique insights into how people of complex and diverse experiences understand themselves and the systems that seek to define and surveil them with often a very specific set of words that system knows very well. This comes up most commonly when I'm doing intake and registration paperwork, where I hunch behind my laptop and pull up a form that asks for about 50 bajillion pieces of very specific demographic information before I get to asking, "Hi, how are you?" A lot of drop-down menus, a lot of check boxes, and if you're lucky, there might be an option that says something like, "Other, please describe," and then a text box where you can type in your own answer. And so over the years, my various job and volunteer positions, I've kept a running list in my head of some of the particularly funny, raw, poignant, or unexpected responses that clients have given when asked about some aspect of their personhood, identity, choice, or experience that you can't possibly capture in a multiple choice question. And on the screens for your viewing pleasure, I have reproduced some of my favorites. From a client who was asked how they would describe their sexual orientation from a list of options, gay but only for my boyfriend. From a registrant asked about their current gender identity. Thanks for asking, with no answer provided. From a participant in a swimming course asked if they had any chronic diseases or conditions which might affect, safety, ability to swim. No, but I have scars from top surgery on my chest. I hope that's okay. From a returning client filling out yet another form, asked about their pronouns. Leave me alone. So those answers are many things, sometimes funny, sometimes sad, often very creative. But above all, I think they speak to something so deeply human that whether you're queer or not, we can all sort of understand. Wanting to be seen and understood just as you are, exactly as you are, especially when it feels like the system wasn't even looking for you in the first place. To the person who wanted it known specifically that they were gay but only for their boyfriend, I wonder, when was the last time that anyone asked? Do they live maybe in a homophobic family system, in the crosshairs of societal compulsory heterosexuality? Was I the first person who ever gave them the chance to proclaim, even just in a digital form, that they only have eyes for their beloved? Or do they just love their boyfriend so much that they want to shout it from the rooftops every chance they get? That write-in answer, gay but only for my boyfriend, it's just the tip of the iceberg. I'm not under the illusion that I know everything about that person now, but it starts to hint at a richness of humanity that can't possibly be described in terms of this, that, yes, no, how would you describe your sexual orientation, please select your current gender identity, words that I've come to know very well in my line of work. When I move away from those words that I think I know so well and into the shadows beyond this and that, I also see bits of myself reflected back at me. The person who wrote, "Thanks for asking," without answering the question about their gender identity. Well, haven't I been grateful before to see people like me represented out in the world, to have the question asked even when I wasn't ready to give the answer, to come out publicly as one of them? The person who felt the need to warn me that they had visible top surgery scars, as if they were asking permission to include their body in a space of other bodies. Haven't I too felt so trepidatious about being rejected by others that I felt like I had to preemptively apologize for being myself? The person who, when asked about pronouns, just wanted to be left alone. Wouldn't I feel the same if I had to write down my pronouns and then fill out the rest of a 3-page form by hand every time I wanted to go to the food bank to get groceries and, not starve next week? Bottom line is, when we look real close between all of the thises, that's, in-betweens, ones or the others, we start to get a better sense of the other person and ourselves, of what's not being said, of what we might have forgotten to ask or look for, even within something we think we know real well. And so I've come to really treasure those moments that someone throws me a curveball on my paperwork, because it serves to pepper my workday with little reminders that there's so much more out there in the stories of my fellow humans that I could possibly imagine at any given moment, even when I think I've seen everything. Sometimes it's messy, sometimes it's raw, and no, I will almost never find it as an option in the drop-down menu in our client information system. But it all evokes a sense of respect and wonder that says, I don't know you, but I want to. Tell me who you are, and I'll listen. If the form forgot to say it, then I'll say it now with my presence. Here there is a place for you. And here, my beloved community, there is a place for you. I wonder if we have a song about that. Allison?
Our next song is called A Place for You. A Place for You appears on the Songs of Comfort and Solace album by the great American community music maker Melanie Demore. she references spirit, love, and grace. I believe each of these, individually or in combination, can remake our being and our feelings of belonging and sense of what is possible in community, in ourselves, in this moment. Everything is new.
Thanks, Allison. Congregation, you're going to join the choir in singing this morning. It's a call and response song, and it's always the same melody. So Brenda's sick today. She was going to start us off, so I will do her part. If you could rise in body or spirit as you're able and willing. Choir 2. I'm going to just break it down before we get right into it. So the soloist sings, Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. And you're going to answer. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Great. If you're always singing with the altos. There's going to be some other harmonies coming in. If you like them, you're willing to take them, but this melody will repeat throughout the song. All right. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new. Spirit made a place for you where everything is new.
Love has made a place for you where everything is new. Love has made a place for you where everything is new.
Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Grace has made a place for you where everything is new. Spirit has made a place for you where everything is new. Spirit has made a place for you where everything is new. Where everything is new.
Hi there. I'm Julia, and this is the Time for All Ages. And today I have a story for you that is going to appear in just abracadabra. There it is. Sylvia and Marsha start a revolution, and that is that's the real Sylvia Riviera and Marsha P. Johnson. And they were very kind, generous, loving transgender women who weren't afraid to be themselves, and they weren't afraid to speak their truth. And they dreamed of making things better for them and other transgender women. And so they did, as we will find out in this story. Could we have the next slide? So this was the Stonewall Inn back in when they were, some of you going like this, when they were, young people back in the late 60s, early 70s in New York City, and it wasn't easy being a transgender woman back then, and now as well, but back then especially. And this was a place where LGBTQ people could come and they could just be themselves. They could dance. They didn't have to pretend. They could just dance and be together in community and have fun. But it wasn't sometimes it wasn't a safe place either, because the police could come at any time. They could just burst in. And they could arrest people, transgender women, for dressing the way they chose. Just imagine for being arrested for wearing your favorite outfit. Really? And so, in 2016, there was a plaque outside the Stonewall Inn, saying that this is where the rebellion started, that started the civil rights movement for LGBTQ people. And the next slide, this is the author, Joy Michael Ellison, and a quote from her: "I am interested in creating picture books that introduce queer and transgender heroes to our youngest revolutionaries." And Tashika Silver, the illustrator: "My wish is for all marginalized people to not be in the margins, for all people to be liberated, to be able to see the beauty in themselves." So if we could start the story now. Sylvia and Marsha start a revolution. The story of the trans women of color who made LGBTQ plus history. Sylvia Riviera and Marsha P. Johnson weren't just friends. They were as close as sisters, strolling arm in arm down Christopher Street. That was where the Stonewall Inn was located. They looked magnificent. "Sylvia," Marsha cried, "see that girl over there? She looks hungry. Give her $1. "Marsha," said Sylvia, "that's all our money. How will we eat?" Marsha smiled. "Us, we'll be fine, honey." "It's not right for these kids to be sleeping on the street," said Sylvia. She remembered what her grandma said when Sylvia wore a dress for the first time. Sylvia had finally felt free, but Grandma frowned. "You're a boy," she said. "Act like it." Sylvia knew she could only act like herself. Sylvia, like Marsha, was a transgender girl. People thought she was a boy, but she knew differently. She hated seeing other transgender girls suffer just for being themselves, too. "We've got to do something for girls like us," she told Marsha. "That's a man in a dress," a woman shouted, pointing. "Look at me," Marsha said, twirling. "I'm not a man. I'm a woman, and I always have been." Sylvia laughed. Marsha heard a call. This is code. "Here comes Alice in the blue dress." "Oh no," thought Marsha. "That means the cops are coming." Police could arrest transgender girls for wearing dresses. She grabbed Sylvia's hand and they ran. Sylvia panted. "You okay?" "Honey, I'm tired of being treated so bad," said Marsha. Sylvia sighed. Someday, girls like us will be able to wear whatever we want. People will call us by the names we choose. They'll respect that we are women. The cops will leave us alone and no one will go hungry. Sylvia and Marsha talked and talked about making life better for themselves and their sisters. Then on June 28, 1969, they took action. Sylvia burst into the Stonewall Inn. "Happy birthday, Marsha!" "Thanks, honey," Marsha said. They grooved on the dance floor until Marsha heard a voice yell, "Here comes Alice in the blue dress." Oh no, she thought, the police. "That's a man in a dress," a policeman sneered at Marsha. "Show me your ID or I'll arrest you." "Not on my birthday," said Marsha. The police ordered everyone into the street and began making arrests. "Come on," Marsha yelled. The two friends rushed toward the police van. They pushed past the officers, broke open the van door, and dragged out their friends and set them free. "The revolution!" shouted Sylvia. "It's beautiful." The next day, everyone on Christopher Street was talking about the Stonewall Rebellion. Sylvia and Marsha strode with pride like two lionesses until they heard the call. "Here comes Alice in the blue dress." "Look at these kids with no homes running from the cops." Sylvia shook her head. "We still gotta do something for them." Marsha frowned. "We're just two friends trying to survive ourselves." "We'll give them what we got," said Sylvia. "Friendship. Let's get a house. Let's open it up to all the young sisters living on the streets." Young transgender girls came from miles around to live with Sylvia and Marsha. Together, they took care of each other. They ate together, laughed together, and struggled together. They became family. Sylvia and Marsha spent their lives fighting for the survival and rights of transgender people. Through it all, they were best friends. Their memory shines like a star, showing us that with our friends, we can change the world. Thank you.
Tough act to follow. To tee up our message of inspiration, our friend Dave Renzetti will be sharing with us a reading from A Song of Faith, one of the faith statements of the United Church of Canada.
God is holy mystery, beyond complete knowledge, above perfect description. Yet, in love, the one eternal God seeks relationship. So God created the universe, and with it the possibility of being and relating. God tends the universe, mending the broken and reconciling the estranged. God enlivens the universe, guiding all things toward harmony with their source. Grateful for God's loving actions, we cannot keep from singing. The fullness of life includes moments of unexpected inspiration and courage lived out, experiences of beauty, truth, and goodness, blessings of seed and harvest, friendship and family, intellect and sexuality, the reconciliation of persons through justice and community living in righteousness, and the articulation of meaning. And so we sing of God the Spirit, who from the beginning has swept over the face of creation, animating all energy and matter, and moving in the human heart. Divine creation does not cease until all things have found their wholeness, union, and integration with the common ground of all being. As children of the Timeless One, our time-bound lives will find completion in the all-embracing Creator. In the meantime, we embrace the present, embodying hope, loving our enemies, caring for the earth, and choosing life. Grateful for God's loving actions, we cannot keep from singing, creating, and seeking relationship. In awe and trust, we witness the holy mystery, who is holy love. Amen.
Thank you, Dave. And on that note, it is my great pleasure to welcome Reverend Bri-anne Swan to the pulpit. Reverend Bri-anne is honored to serve as minister to East End United Regional Ministry, part of the Danforth Multi-Faith Commons. A singer-songwriter and digital creator, she's passionate about facilitating spiritual encounters in online spaces. Reverend Bri-anne also serves as a spiritual advisor to individuals on Texas's death row and is routinely humbled by the grace and resiliency found in seemingly hopeless and desperate places.
Thank you so much, Tab. It's so good. I walk through this space almost daily, and it's good to be here with you in service. And it is my practice before speaking to offer a silent prayer. So for those of you who would like to join me in that, I invite you to. Holy and loving God, may the words from my mouth and the meditations on all of our hearts gathered both here and at screens this morning be pleasing to you. Amen. God is holy mystery. I was told this when I was young, but no one said mystery could look like a girl with a bruised lip, or a boy binding his ribs until he could breathe the shape of his name, or a person who refuses to shrink so the world stays comfortable. No one said God could look like this, a body learning self out loud. I come with my hands open to the edge of a river. The water says nothing and yet keeps its promise. I will hold you. I will take your shape without asking you to change. A song of faith says God is beyond perfect description. So maybe this is why God keeps slipping out of the cages we build, why they keep arriving in the dusk, in the tender hour when nothing is one thing or the other. Not day, not night, just the soft glow between. Though day and night will come. Creation has taught me that the world was never made only of pairings. Everything holy spills. Even the sun leans towards the moon some nights, and the moon blushes into daylight without apology. Why then do so many demand simplicity from bodies that carries galaxies inside of them? If the world were honest, it would admit that so much of God lives in the places beyond this and that. estuaries that won't conform, skies that smudge their colors, and bodies that refuse to lie. Creation has always been fluent in languages many of us pretend not to hear. Though I do not claim it, even the Catholic Catechism acknowledges that God is neither man nor woman. And I think, of course, God is the breath between pronouns, the mother hen hunger, the father cry grief, the lover who refuses to be reduced to biology or fear. And God remembers the first time you whispered your name, how the sound of it cracked like a newborn star. God creates, God tends, God enlivens. These are the pieces I need to remember when the news becomes unbearable, when I read the names and feel the room fall away. Julie Berman, Shelby Tracy Tom. The list lengthens, the world keeps killing its prophets, and God weeps. The Ontario Human Rights Commission calls it what it is, violence braided into the systems meant to protect. Trans women, especially those who are racialized, those who are two-spirit, walk home as though carrying lit torches in a place soaked with gasoline. Their safety strategy, they say, is isolation. But solitude like that is a slow, slow famine, devouring joy, devouring belonging. It is cruel to expect survival to depend on disappearing. And God weeps. Some nights I imagine God walking through the alleyways of every city, picking up the pieces of the people, society, the Christian church especially, has failed. A broken bracelet, a scuffed shoe, holding each object the way a mother holds what her child has left behind. Spirit of the beginning still sweeping over creation, like hands searching a loved one's face. I want to believe they hover here, in this wounded century, breathing courage into those the world pushes to its edges. I want to believe they are whispering into every ear who needs to hear, you are the image I imagined when the universe was still dark. I want to believe their voice sounds like the first morning after a long winter, the kind of light that tells the buried crocus you can come out now. It is safe to be yourself. To be trans, to be non-binary, to be two-spirit is to carry a story the world is too often not ready for, and to speak it anyway. That is the way of prophets. It is to be wildfire in a land of cold ash. It is to build a home able to weather the storm deep in your own bones, even when others call it impossible. And God sings. A song of faith says divine creation does not cease until all things find wholeness. I hold on to this tiny, fragile thing. I hold it like a lamp while walking through a valley of unmarked graves, because if creation is still happening, then every life is a gospel still being written, and every transition is a resurrection. Wholeness is what happens when nothing of you is banished. And God delights. I imagine a future where no one survives by hiding. A future where trans joy is not radical, just ordinary. Like the way river water holds the moon without question. Mourning is not the final word. Even grief, when held long enough, can become a doorway. Even sorrow, when spoken aloud, can become seed. And I am glad that this community is offering a place of vigil this week. To embrace the Song of Faith's call to embody hope, care for the earth, and choose life, these are invitations for a world where trans people live without fear. I want a world where gender is not a battlefield, but a shoreline, constantly shifting, constantly creating new paths for those brave enough to walk towards themselves. I want a world where gender is a garden and where every person grows into whatever shape their soul leans towards. A world that trusts the bloom to know itself. God affirms. God who rises in the spaces between binaries. God who walks the marsh and the dusk, who refuses to be reduced. God who changes their mind. God who keeps gathering the outcast into the center of the story. God who weeps with us, who sings over us. God who insists the world must change. We remember, and remembering becomes a kind of singing. We sing, and singing becomes a form of resistance. We resist, and the resistance creates a new world. Grateful for God's loving action, we cannot keep from singing. Creating and seeking relationship in awe and trust, we witness to holy mystery that is holy love. Amen.
Let us take some time now to turn inward and notice what's moving through us following Reverend Bri-anne's message. The Spirit Choir will sing gently to move us through to the next part of the service.
Listen to heartache.
the time has come for our offertory. Sharing of ourselves is part of every faith community. Volunteer efforts are essential and deeply appreciated, but rent and salaries are paid and programs created by your contributions. The greeters will pass the baskets for those who choose to make contributions physically. Members of Neighborhood also choose a variety of ways to give, including through QR codes, e-transfers, PayPal, or from their banks via pre-authorized withdrawal. As Moira shared with us earlier, today's offertory will be a split plate between Neighborhood and the Red Dress Society of Prince George. Kindly note that our office is only able to provide a charitable donation tax receipt for donations to Neighborhood. If you wish for the entirety of your donation today to go specifically to either Neighborhood or the Red Dress Society of Prince George, please indicate this clearly either on your envelope or in the subject line of your digital transfer. Unmarked envelopes and electronic contributions will be split 50-50 between Neighborhood and the Red Dress Society. Whether you are online or here in the sanctuary, you can use the link displayed on your screen, which leads you to the donation page on our website. In all ways, I ask you to be generous. As the greeters pass the baskets, it is my joy to share with you the life of the community. And boy howdy, what a lively community it is. Are you interested in joining NUUC as a member but missed our recent Pathway to Membership Day? Our November 30th Sunday service will include a new member joining ceremony, and if you feel informed and ready to say yes to membership at NUUC, you can take part. Our membership committee will be available in the minister's office after service on the 16th, that's today, and the 23rd to answer questions and connect you with any information you may need. Our neighborhood gallery presents 2 shows, Tendrils of Connection, and any artists who are here, please identify yourselves. Stand up, give a little wave, hoot and holler so we know where you are. Tendrils of Connection by Helen Armstrong, Constellation Prize, Anne Gottfried, Lauren McKinley Renzetti, Abigail Scott, and Heather Weldrake. We also have Kissing the Bouquet by Paola Poletto. Please, please, please take some time after service today or whenever floats your boat to physically visit the galleries upstairs and look at the beautiful art that our sanctuary is blessed with. Both shows run on a date that is on the slide, November 9th, 2025 to January 18th, 2026. Meet the artists today from 12 to 1 p.m. up in the galleries. All are welcome. Our Trans Day of Remembrance candlelight vigil will take place on Thursday, November 20th at 7:30 p.m. here in our sanctuary. Doors open at 7. I invite you all to come and hold space for observation, remembrance, and reflection on the lives of those lost to transphobic violence this year. Wicca for the Curious is taking place on Friday, November 1st in Rafos Hall at 7:30 p.m. NUUC member and experienced Wiccan priest Astis Rogers will lead a beginner-friendly Friday evening ritual. This ritual will be performed in the Odyssean style and will include a tutorial on altar setup and ritual construction. It will serve as an introduction to Wicca and will help us gauge interest in ongoing ritual practices to mark upcoming Sabbats. Please contact Please contact Astis with any questions or for more details at astis.rogers@icloud.com. Sacred Circle Dancing is back on Saturday, November 22nd from 1 to 3:30 p.m. in Rafos Hall. Step into our monthly dance facilitated by the Toronto Sacred Circle Dancers. No experience is necessary. They will teach you each dance using simple, repetitive steps, danced together in one circle of shared energy. Go barefoot or bring a clean pair of non-street shoes to dance in. Listening with Love, a sharing circle on Palestine and Israel. Scrupling, a traditional Quaker practice, is an effort to set aside partisan positions, discuss common concerns, and seek to find paths forward. It is not a debate or an argument, but a serious and heartfelt search for ways to listen to each other's concerns with care and compassion. We will scruple 2 questions. What is it that you would like to say that you haven't felt able to say openly until now about the situation in Gaza, West Bank, and Israel? And What do you feel is your responsibility as a person of faith and conscience in this situation in Gaza, West Bank, and Israel? We will scruple on November 27th in our sanctuary. Doors will open at 6:30 and we will start at 7 o'clock. All NUUC members and friends are welcome, as are any snacks that you would like to share. If you have questions, you're welcome to ask Reverend Sally. Bruce, where are you, Bruce? He's not here today. Deeply tragic. Peter? Or Suzanne, where are you, Suzanne? Our community potluck is coming up on Saturday, November 29th. Setup will be at 6 p.m. if you want to come help us set up. Dinner will be at 7 p.m. and a song circle will happen at 8:30. Bring a dish to share or just bring an empty stomach and a voice ready to do some singing. The Multi-Faith Marketplace and Fair is happening once again on Saturday, December 6th from 1 to 4 at the Eastminster campus at the Danforth Multi-Faith Commons, our home building, little ways that way. And it's also happening here in our sanctuary. Ooh, big market. It's all here?
It's happening here.
It's all happening here. 30 vendors in here. Yeah. For more information and ways to connect and serve at Neighborhood, keep the screen in the cappuccino room and your weekly Friday email. And if you have something to say but you didn't see it on our community, Life of the Community list, write to Hala at office@nuuc.ca or write to Hala to get on Neighborhood's email list. Our next Sunday service on November 23rd, we'll hear the message Inherently Worthy from our friend Reverend Lynn Harrison. Our music will come from Suzanne and Friends. Our weaver will be Allison Kabayama, and our time for all ages will be with Julia Thompson. I think we got one more song.
We're about to sing a song from the late 1800s called You Made Me a Pallet on the Floor. So what was a pallet? It was a makeshift bed made of straw or rags or leaves, usually wrapped in fabric. In the modern sense, at least when I was homeless, we would call it couch surfing or crashing. Anything that drew a line between sleeping rough or sleeping under a roof. That's the gift of a pallet on the floor. It comes with walls and warmth and weatherproofing. It comes with the notion that you are not disposable. It's a song, still topical today, and it's a peppy one, yay, of hope and gratitude and the gift of a place to land, even when you don't have a place to call home.
Congregation, you can sing this one with us. If you'd like to rise, you're welcome to join in spirit with the choir.
When I had no place to go.
What an incredible choir we have. Keith, will you come extinguish our chalice? And please join with the choir one last time in singing our chalice extinguishing song. I invite you now to connect physically as we have spiritually, whether that's holding a hand or taking an elbow or a shoulder or a glance, or just expanding your awareness to the neighbors on either side of you. Reverend Bri-anne, will you lead our closing blessing?
May you go from this place held by a love that asks nothing of you but your truest self. May courage find you when the world grows too sharp, and may you lend your voice to justice with conviction and with joy. As you return to the divine's wide, wilding world, may you remember you are not alone, and you are so very needed.
Our service has ended. Go in love. See you for Meet the Artists upstairs.